Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to thank everybody who worked on this project so that we may have our Zoom conference from, I guess it's tomorrow morning, my time, 5 a.m. in Korea, Sunday, and you'll 1 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you very much. Larry Durbin, I'd like to make a comment on him. He has always called me the oldest classmate of our class. And I don't mind that because my passport says I was born on September 29, 1939. And in the Orient where I grew up, age means wisdom and respectability. So I don't mind that. And he has been to see me and my family members at different places at different times. He came to Cambridge, Massachusetts to see me and my son, I guess, at the time. And he came to Los Angeles to where I was having a convention, Prudential Insurance Company's convention there. And he came to see me and my wife. And she, I think, gave up last few holes of golf to come to the convention and meet Larry. And he also came to Seoul several times. As you know, he flew that big airplane, 747, for the United Airlines. And this is tea, not scotch I'm drinking. And when he stopped, he used to have a layover here in Seoul and at the Hilton Hotel. So sometimes I would go see him there and have a cup of coffee or lunch. Then he also came to Korea and had dinner at our place where my daughter joined. So he's met most of my family, and I guess he's my best friend, as you call it. And I used to travel to Newark, New Jersey, which is Prudential Financial's headquarters is located. And he actually cooked breakfast for me at his home while I was passing through one time. I think it was something like 20. I think was it 2003. Anyway, he deserves to be my best friend, so I call him my best friend. Another item I want to tell you is the ladies who run the Grossman High School's museum, Connie and Lynn Bear, who asked me, relayed to me actually, the request from the Grossman Union High School District Board, wanted to have me say a few words to congratulate them for having the centennial. So I wrote one-page item, and sent to them. And the reason I'm talking about that is because I wanted to say some of the things I've said on that comments. I want to mention a couple of things. I started with the struggles I had during the Korean War, and the reason I'm drinking this tea is because after my thyroid cancer surgery in 1998, during the course of the post-surgery treatment, the medicine that I took destroyed part of my saliva wells, so I don't get much saliva. So my wife dries up, my mouth dries up, my mouth dries up frequently, so I have to drink water. Anyway, so after the struggle, as you know, or you may know, those of you who read my memoir will know that I had to wait 4 years to get my passport and a visa. And in those days in Korea, it took more than the fee. You had to have connections to get passports and visas, I suppose. But anyway, so I got it, and I arrived in the U.S. at the end of 1955. And I enrolled in Grossman in the 10th grade in April 1956. And of course, during the first 6 months or so, excuse me, I was really lost. Not only I didn't know what was going on, but they talked too fast for me in the classroom. So you can see I had a pretty rough time during those 6 months. But as time went on, obviously I got a little better, and the rest of the 2 years, I spent a total of 2.5 years at Grossman. So after the 6 months, during the remaining 2 years, they taught me, they meaning, the teachers, administrators, counselors, they all did such a job that they taught me enough to graduate in 2.5 years. By the way, which was my first formal education. When I was in Korea, during the Korean War, of course, everybody was running around fleeing, so you couldn't go to school. And when I was working in Korea before coming to the U.S., I worked during the day, and I went to a night school 3 nights a week to study English and math 3 times a week. That would help me when I got to America. Anyway, the school did such a job in 2.5 years to obviously sufficiently to teach me to graduate and to go on to college. And for that, I was most obviously grateful. should be so. Very, very grateful. And my statement to the Grosse Mountain High School School Board was based on that subject. And I think one of the amazing things during my high school years was that students, especially my classmates, were very, very helpful. When we played tennis, cheered me on. I mean, I thought they may wonder why this different looking student, I think I was the only foreign-born student, if I'm not mistaken. And yet they were so kind every way that I felt very much home. And I am grateful to all of you who are my classmates so that I could go through that formal part of my education and go on to college and other things. I think my resume has, of course, starting with Grosse Mountain High School, graduated in 1958, and Harvard College, 4 years, Columbia Graduate School, 1 year, U.S. Air Force, 4.5 years, and then started my civilian career. Chase Manhattan was the first job I had outside of the military. And I was there almost 10 years. And good thing, because in those days, I don't know what it is now, but in those days, you had to work at least 10 years to get a pension. So I stayed 10 years and moved on to other banking work. Bank called the Maureen Midland Bank, you may recall, in New York. It was purchased by the Hong Kong Bank. So I worked for both of them from 1978 to 1992. And then my last job was Prudential Financial, what used to be called the Prudential Insurance Company of Korea, or Prudential Life Insurance Company of Korea. They had this Korean subsidiary which was not doing too well in the first year, so they approached me, and after consulting with, of course, the Hong Kong Bank, for which I was the country manager, and my family, and I decided to make the change because the Hong Kong Bank usually leaves their so-called international officers who are very mobile. You can only normally stay no more than 3 years in one country, and then you got to move on to wherever they send you. But maybe because I'm a Korean American, and also the chairman used to visit Korea and felt that he felt comfortable, so he was very nice to me. He let me stay in Korea 7 years. That never happens to what they call international officers. So at that time, when the people, the headhunters, approached me about the potential job, I thought about that. I thought I was probably overstaying Chairman Purvis's welcome. So I decided to take the potential job, although I would have to learn a whole new ball game. Life insurance business, as I came to know, is different than banking completely. So I made the move at the end of 1992 and first retired in 2005, but I stayed on for a couple of years to kind of bring the new person in charge on. And then they recalled me another time. I think Larry knows this because I told him so. Then they recalled me for a brief time in 2011, where they had a lot of personnel problems. So I went back and worked them out. And then I got a new president of the company on board. Then I left again, and for good this time. So that is my short resume that I just told you about. Now, when I was sending that comment about the congratulating the Grossman High School for its centennial, I attached a picture, which is the picture of Grossman High School's 1958 tennis team. And I thought, everybody I know, including Larry and Kenny Hagelin and everybody were on that tennis team. So I thought that picture would make the board look at them and may like it. So I sent that too. That part winds up my comments here. I hope I don't wear these white shirts and so forth at home, but I thought you don't want to see me in my pajamas, so I did that. Now, anything else we can discuss, ask questions when we have our Zoom meeting. It's 2 p.m. in Korea, Saturday, and I will be seeing you at 5 a.m. in Korea and 1 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow to continue our conversation. Thank you very much, and thank you again for setting this up. I've learned something about Zoom, so thank you again. See you.